Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's great to have you here in my little mousy world. Oh my goodness, this has just been so absorbing. Oh, it's like I do all my housework and all my stitching as quick as I can so I can get back to a day of mousing around, which has become the hashtag, mousing around. Let me bring you up to speed. I do want to work on the bottom in this particular episode, but some things from Temu have arrived and some random bits and pieces that I've picked up around the place. So let me just bring you up to speed. Nothing's changed in the top level. Bed's still there, linen yet to be made, and the tall boy and the side table. Nothing's changed. In previous videos, I was planning to put the kitchen here, and I had some cabinetry and I had it all laid out, arrive, and it was, I thought, perfect. Then we come down to this level and I've had some couches arrive. I want to reupholster them. Look, they're okay, but I think I can put a slow stitch twist to it. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I definitely want to have a play with all the textures. And luckily they sort of match. So if time becomes my enemy and this drags on for 5 years, the couch will just be what it is, but we can definitely do some cushions. Shouldn't be too hard. Anyway, stay focused. I had the kitchen, like I said, up here, and the bathroom and laundry down here. And let me show you what I got. Look at that. Is that not just the cutest little bathtub? It's all of porcelain. I could have had a crack at making it, but you got to know when you're batting above your pay grade, I think. And time, I don't want this to roll for years, and it would roll for years. And there's the little pedestal vanity. So I got this little bathroom kit. There is a mirror as well. But I don't know where that's got to. I haven't got a wall to put it on. And that is my little laundry setup. I decided to go for just one cabinet, and then I picked up this little combination, little tub with the little washer rack in there. I'm not sure of the official name of that. But I've got some cabinetry with a sink in it, and I thought that at least keeps my laundry very compact. So when these goodies started arriving, they were all here and dividing the two spaces. If you remember in the last episode, I wanted 2 separate rooms, and the plan was to start using some of these bookcase things that I've found around the place. This is the plastic one, and I designed it so it slid in beautifully, would give a bookcase to this room, and then the kitchen is bathroom would have been separate, and I had the toilet and the little pedestal basin on the back of this, and it looked beautiful with the kitchen up here still. Gaz comes in and goes, "You've blocked off the space completely. There's no doorway getting between the two." And then a debate broke out about how do you traverse a doll's house, and even Dawn was involved from Dawn Meldrum, her channel. I was chatting to her and she said, well, everyone knows that the doll comes out and then goes back in. Gaz wasn't buying it. He was like, that's not right. They need to be able to walk between rooms. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I looked at, could I cut it? What could I do? I have a taller, thinner bookcase, but it didn't fit in the floor. Oh, it was a bit of an oversight, to be honest. So I thought, well, let's rethink the spaces. So I slept on it overnight, and my kitchen cabinetry in the back there with the fridge was up here, came down here. So now those two spaces complement each other, and the bathroom's tucked up here, and I love it. So if I was staying over in the loft, you would then come downstairs to your wet area. So it makes sense. And because the laundry's here now and we've got sunshine out on the balcony, I've got an opportunity to make a clothesline and, you know, play with this area. Instead of it being in my head the first time, it was going to be a picnic space, like have a table out here and somewhere for the mice to have a picnic. But it's going to be a laundry zone. So hanging washing, quilts that are being cleaned, quilts hanging over here, like possibilities, much better in, I guess, bringing textiles in, which is at the end of the day why I'm doing this. I really want to do slow stitch elements on miniature. That's my jam. Not so much making furniture. Like I'm getting braver and playing with a few things. Making furniture look old and mousy, that I can do. So I'm looking forward to making these pine pieces match. And now I've got a table over here. It doesn't match the aesthetics of my piece, but it was too good not to grab. So I'm going to need to make that feel like it's fitting, whether it be an embroidered tablecloth with a touch of paint to sort of tie it all together. Yeah, so that's my jam, so to speak. I've been watching so many videos on how to make everything in these houses, and they're astounding, absolutely astounding. But boy, you need to invest in a lot of hardware to make things like that happen. So I'm sort of just trying to I don't need another room full of bandsaws and jigs to create furniture and things like that. So yeah, anyway, well, we'll just take it easy. What else was I going to show you? Oh, when Gaz is involved looking at the architectural value of the establishment, he says, how does the mouse get up there? Well, of course, that is an issue. And I started mucking around with stairs. Okay, this stairs will come into play further down, but I just started fiddling with floating stairs. I thought, well, at least if they're floating, so I don't have to worry about them being really straight. So I started carving just with a kitchen knife into a piece of this dowel, and they're paddle pop sticks that I've popped a little bit of glue in there. And then that notch there would connect to a floor. This side could be glued to a wall. So in that case, you've got now a staircase with a little notch at the top like a balustrading. So that's what I've been playing with, and it'll make more sense when I get further down. So up here, I was like, okay, if this is my little prototype that could be bigger or smaller depending on what I need, where would it go? So I had the stairs sort of sitting over against the wall, but your mouse would be walking into the bedside table. Over here, how does the mouse get there? Because it's a sheer drop. It just didn't quite work. So, because when I don't know. It's crazy, this whole thinking. So what I opted for is I made a rope ladder. I know it's a sheer drop. Yes, Gaz, mouse could plummet, but mice can climb. So this was an easy compromise. I got some yarn and I did a single crochet, a big long line of them. And then these are little toothpicks that I counted 8 single crochet and then inserted the little toothpick, a little dob of PVA glue to stabilize it. I let the bottoms dangle because the rope would sort of be a bit like that. These are, pins that you put into a corkboard to hold notes. I cut the sharp pin off just to give me this little top. It just fitted beautifully with the aesthetics. I was actually looking for a set of keys that we'd misplaced and, go to that drawer in the kitchen that's got everything in it. And I spotted these. I'm like, ooh, they might be handy for something. So I'm sure those little guys will appear in other things because they nearly look like cups, goblets, lamppost bases. Like, see what I mean by this is just a massive mouse hole. So they're glued, pinning the little rope ladder in place. So Gaz still wasn't happy with that. He felt it was dangerous, but it's okay. It's staying. Another spot that I had an issue was here, and getting the mice from the top of the steps onto here, which I'm sure I mentioned in the last video. So I started thinking about ramps and what I could use paddle pop sticks for to get us there. I'll just grab the piece. It's sitting and drying and I'm probably rushing things, but I can show you, I believe. just bring it over. So I ended up putting two, oh, it is drying, like typical me, don't let it dry. Let me just come back into shot. It can dry in the house now. See, it's not dry. Oh, goodness, I'm going to drop it. Two buttons on a piece of dowel. That little scrap of dowel's been rolling around for some time, so it was perfect height. Then I've got 3 paddle pops that is supporting them. Cut the round end off. There's my glue, and that is just the right height to get mice across to the landing. And I'm sure Gaz will say it doesn't have handrails. The mice could fall, but that was my solution. Now, in thinking about how to create a ramp, I started thinking about, well, maybe I need to invest in some more bits and pieces to help me build things. So I found this. I think I was at Bunnings. It could be Spotlight, but I think it was Bunnings. And it's given me a pack of balsa wood, which can be easily cut with scissors. It's so light. Like, I remember seeing this years ago. I don't know, I think there was a hobby shop that we went into looking for something, and I remember seeing it there. So, but I'd never touched it. Like, it's amazing. Looks like timber, but it's so soft. So that's going to come in handy because I've got an issue with steps further down, which we'll get to, which is the whole purpose of this video. So I'm happy that my layout of my furniture and the zones, I don't think will change now. I've fixed the step ladder issue between. It's all well and good putting in these extra layers, but you've got to get your mice up to them. It's all well and good, once again, creating a layer and things don't line up, but we can work ways around it. And I love my button barrel with the steps. So when that is adhered, I'll put a dab of glue in under there, so it just will be a permanent fixture. So moving down to the next layer, this is the retail area. So in the last video we installed, oops, my camera's gonna roll forward. In the last video we installed this layer and this and the fabric, and it was all looking good. Well, now I've placed a tall boy or 2 cupboards in the back with little glass doors and a buffet. Can you see the buffet? Let's zoom in a little bit. See the buffet between the 2 cupboards? And I also picked up a little table combination, and that I found locally, the brown table. And look, cash register. Look at that. Isn't that the most adorable thing? Oh, I just love it. So my thought is, oh, and the sewing machine. Oh, look at that. Isn't that just like, there's just some things a girl's got to have. Miniature sewing machine. Is it in proportion? No, it doesn't matter, as Gaz would probably spot really quickly. It doesn't matter. What I got here, these 2 came from Temu. They're little cabinets, but this was broken here on the second one. And I was just about to sit down and glue it into position. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do that because it looked like a little ladder to me. So if you look over there, see it? That is the base off of this broken table. I would say that when Temu sends you things, they literally pack it in a little white box with a clear piece of Perspex, and then everything goes into a loose bag. And when things are broken, it's really disappointing. Having said that, it's really easy to let them know that I've got an issue with the packaging and this thing is broken, and they give me a credit straight away. They don't even want it sent back. So I must say that side of it is really easy to navigate. So broken ladder aside, the plan is to lean it against the wall over there, and I can put quilts in that, a quilt ladder. So I was really pleased with it, to the point where I tried to get the one out of this one, but it wouldn't come apart. It was really strong, but that's okay. So layout of this area. So let's assume that this is the shop. So that's a table with wares on it, or a cutting table for quilt making, slow stitch placing, whatever. That's a bit of a stand there and work. This is a little shop of supplies. So that could be, I don't know, buttons and zippers and, you know, who knows. The cabinetry at the back, I think, will have probably quilts in it and bolts of fabric. That'll be fun to fill those, and of course that bench between the two. This is the table where our little students do quilt making and activities, and I hope to make a mouse that is not missing their legs but shorter in stature, that I could have mice sitting here and doing things. So that's a project for another day. Oh, I've got a million ideas, guys. It's stay focused on one thing at a time. So in the process of getting some bits and pieces from Temu, when I got the kitchen, I also ordered that, but it doesn't fit where my kitchen is due to the ceiling height. But I'm going to use it down here in this little nook where my Cadbury poster is on the wall. Let me just spin over a little bit. If you can see, there's that little white piece, and then I got a side table. Isn't that adorable? So that's going to go against the wall over here. The little kitchen thing will hold cutlery, and like I planned when I was doing the design, that nook over there is where you'd go to get your cup of tea and your cake when you've completed your class. So that's how that is laying out, and it's perfect. I love it. And there's still plenty of space to put things around the posts that they would buy, and like I can merchandise all this with, maybe have a go at making some suitcases with things in them, and like that is going to come together beautifully. All right, so I think I've caught you up to speed on the aesthetics of things happening. I'm not sure if I showed you the piece of fabric against the wall over there. I probably did. That's just a piece of old French fabric. I've used a bit of washi tape to hold it there. I want to do a slow stitch piece there one day for that. Okay, so let's go down to the bottom level. Let's see if I can get you there. All right, stairs, the bane of my life. Getting mice between levels. So let me take this out. This is the stairs that came with the dollhouse. They are massive. There are two little holes. Let me just move that out of the way. There are two little holes there that these two little pieces of dowel go into to have them sit there like that. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I lose all that space behind. So I've been coming up with what can I do to replace those stairs. Now that's where's those stairs I created? Let's remove them for a moment. So the plan was to have another floor come in like so. I've got a piece of on the edge of that pole, there's a paddle pop stick glued with a bit of washi tape just to make sure it stays. The plan was to bring a floor space in there, and that's when this started all happening. So this stair case would sit there like so. So we've got floating stairs that get us up to the floor. So that's option one. I picked up another couple boards, and I can't put them into position because the structures to hold it, like some dowel or some cleats around the back of it, aren't there. But I got another two. So there's potential of bringing a piece through here and a piece through here. Undecided, pretty much undecided. So if I was to scrap this idea, which gives me a great space below, which I'm loving, and go back to using the original stairs, because this was like lots of problem solving happening here, which is fine. I'm happy to do that. I think the one morning I come out, I'm like, well, maybe I could use the stairs if they went this way. So I still get to use them, because the problem with that original plan, you would have noticed there would be a platform there and I had stairs going to it. Then I needed another set of stairs to get them to this level. And it was just like, oh, my stairs, I guess, are not technically stairs unless they've got a good slope on them. If that slope's not enough, they just look like a steep rung of like a bookcase shelf. Like I wasn't quite happy with it. So it dawned on me that I could actually turn the big steps around and wedge them in there. They're not going anywhere. I've got the ability to have internal stairs and external stairs. So mice could come up this outside and into the shop. I have internal stairs if I wanted, or, you know, stairs are stairs, don't overthink it. The only issue I had is this level is now really slopey, the very top here. It slopes back. You see where my fingers are? So I've been problem solving that all morning, and I come up with, that's why these 4 paddle pop sticks are here, build a chock of paddle pops. And over on my desk, I've got a set now glued together. So they would be glued together. Let me just move the camera a bit. You didn't see any of that. See that? That's a chock. Then a bit of this cut into position. Now levels the top of that staircase beautifully. So it makes sense. They're very steep steps, but hey, they were already with the house. And I must say, I'm a lot happier. Yes, they do encroach on my space below, and I probably could get a better result by having my own stairs, but it's enough to give me a space that could be maybe a little bakery or a fruit and veggie shop, you know, a retail streetscape. So that's where I'm heading with this. The very bottom level, I want that to feel more like it's outside in the street. Well, let's not say that, because then it's not outside in the street. Let's say it's in a mall. So this mall is down here for all your fruit and veggies and cakes. It gives me still a second layer to either connect it to this story or a little bit of both. I'd love another bedroom. I sort of feel like the tutor would be over teaching a class and they need a bed for the night. So I'm thinking that maybe up in this corner here, if I can get another layer in, that would be a bedroom. I don't know what the second layer would be in here. I'm thinking it would be connected to the shop. Maybe it's the shop you go into before you go into the classroom area, possibly. Maybe that's more fabric. That's the fabric shop, and then you come up here and this is where you make your pieces. Yeah, I like that idea. So anyway, the plan now is to level up the landing on the steps, create the new levels through, decide what they'll be another day, and I'll need another scenario where the little bridge with the buttons, where that's created, because once again I'll have this level come in and these stairs that don't quite line up, so that will also need to happen down here somewhere. So that's where we're at with the mouse chateau at the moment. So yeah, I'm loving it. It's coming together. I really wanted to do this bit of video for you to bring you up to speed. I'm quite a fair way ahead in my filming, and so many other side projects are sort of coming together, as you'll probably know by now, for this project, but I'm still sort of building my bases and that. So there you go. Now I can proceed with choosing some fabrics, doing some hardware installation as in floors, and then I can come back to you and sort of catch you back up again. So it's like a chunk of video. Now I can go off and probably spend a week making things and then bring you back in accordingly. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. And oh yeah, we've got a couple more mice. If I come back up, you know who still doesn't have pants, but he's got a little mate. So there's 2 more mice in the house, but they're just hanging around outside because they don't have clothes yet. So I must get the basics of this place figured out, and that's the next level, so that I've got, you know, I guess stories to build within the house. So yeah. Okay guys, I shall tune out and tune back in, and we'll see where we're at. See you later. Okay, a few days have gone by and I have done all my housework. I've got on top of all my stitching, and it's now mousing around time. So today I plan to achieve, or with this video, I plan to achieve all of the floor coverings and wall coverings for the very bottom layer, plus the 2 inserted layers that will add sort of extra floor space to the house. So that's our space. I've cleared it out. It's just been such a handy storage nook, and now I won't be able to just shove things down the bottom of the house. All right, I'll turn the camera around. There's going to be a level go in on that side there, and also one there. I might have a go at cutting my final piece of timber to create a tiny little level there, but we'll see. I think I can do it with my little saw, because I do have the 3rd piece, so you know, we'll give it a go. All right, I'll turn the camera around, reposition on the table, and yeah, we'll go through some papers. Won't be a moment. Okay, this is my space to sort my papers and make some critical decisions about what goes where. So this here is like a hessian that I used on the outside area of the veranda upstairs, and I thought what I'd do is use it again, and I've cut it to size for the little nook downstairs. It's sort of like its very own room. So I've just gone around, now that it's cut to size, and put a little drizzle of art glitter glue, and that'll just stop it from fraying. So art glitter glue, my go-to glue, dries extremely fast. If you do invest in some, always remember to get the nib, and the nib comes with a pin, which has to be steel. If it's not steel, it rusts in the glue. You'll soon find out that it's not steel, because you'll see the rust. So I'm just putting that out of the way, so I can now put this away, which is good. It's going to be good to clear up a bit. There's been papers out for weeks, and we're getting to the, you know, final stages, which is great. I was thinking too, when I was setting this up, a lot of that furniture in there, to give it a bit of a rustic look, I might cover with a bit more of the paper. Like some of those tabletops could have a piece of paper go across the top of them, so they don't look as, you know, new. And what gave me the idea is, as I walked back away from the house, I'm just grabbing this the little stamp was sitting on the top. So what I could do is put some paper on here with the stamp, just to theme it a little bit more, and then some cloth could go on, like a table runner or something like that. So that just occurred to me. Could even put, you know, little bits of paper in there. That would certainly mousy up the house somewhat. Even little scrappy bits of paper could go on chairs, just to add a little detail. But we've got a lot to do before we get to the fun stuff of, you know, decorating everything and making everything. All right, so that's the board that goes in that direction. That's the board that goes in that direction. I need to keep that in mind so that I don't, you know, orientate myself around and get myself into a bit of a kerfuffle. I'm just grabbing a glue stick. Let's go. Got my scrap paper as well, because that's great for walls. Now, remember I got this pack of papers from Eleanor and Ruby online Etsy store based in Queensland, Toowoomba, and they specialise in French vintage fabrics, ephemera paper and things like that. So the scrapbook is out there. You can get French bits and pieces. Mr. Fudge, don't you jump up. So yeah, what have we got? Another postcard. That's a bonus because I've got 2 already. Maybe I can just use them as highlight pieces on the floor of the house. So I might just pop them over there for now. Those little feature pieces. That was taken, I took the top. Will that fit on there? I like that detail. There's a stamp there. I love how there's stamps in random spots. That'd be good. And that's going to be orientated that way, so that works for me. What have we got here? Little piece. I've used them before. What's that? That'd be good for a wall. Just looking at that, 1972. That's very crisp and new. We don't want that. Bit of music. What have we got there? Small piece, good for a wall. I might put that down in the house as a potential. I like that. That's good for just a generic background. And there's a piece of ledger. I sort of like that because it's not intrusive. You're not losing print behind you know, cabinetries going in, and I could see them picking up a piece of just general paper. We might put that in there as well. Oh, I feel like I'm climbing up and down, up and down. Oh, that's cute. I haven't looked through this for a little while. I was thinking of doing a nursery in one of the rooms. Like a plant nursery. They'd be cool. That would force me to make a decision on what I'm talking about. The bottom of the house. I think I mentioned in the video that the downstairs, the very bottom, could be just general traders, like a bookshop, and I had a great name for it. Nibble Nook. What do you think? Is that just like the cutest? So I think there's a Nibble Nook. That way I can make a heap of books. Cute little pieces. Oh, yes. Look at you. Oh, yes. That would be really good on the floor. And my last floor that's obvious is in the centre. Let me just turn the camera around again. Just bear with me. I hope I can take you straight into focus. Oh, goodness me. It's tricky when there's... Okay. See that there? I think that big piece of paper would be good there. The Hessian's going there. Those 2 pieces are those plain ones. They'll go up onto the wall. And then I've got that little piece of ephemera, that promissory check, and that little piece just as, you know, decorative elements. And the 2 vegetable things, where are we going to make the library? Remember, we've got a staircase over here. Maybe the library goes in under the staircase. So I've got windows. It's hard to put things against windows. I'll have to decide once the staircase goes in, because it might be a case of there's not enough walls in this section for bookcases to hold lots of books. But then if I get sick of making books, maybe that would be good. And I just put sitting areas there, or cafe. So we've got to have a cafe. Okay, so what are the areas that we want to have in our house? We want baked goods, cake shop, bakery, a nursery. Do we want a full nursery? Maybe I can fake a nursery by having carts of plants. So it's like, you know, when they have a cafe and there's a flower stand and some plants for sale. Yeah, I'm thinking along those lines. And I could back the wall with those two there. Gosh, the thinking, it's great. All right, I'm going to come back to the table and we'll just bear with me. And up we come. Seasick. This is perfect. This will be on the floor in that center. I like how it's got a sewing reference. So I'll pop that on the floor. We need something yet for these two. What's this? Gee, you're beautiful. Oh, look at the stamp. You're the right orientation for this. Oh, there's another stamp. I might be able to cut that little bit off. Will it come off? No. Yeah, that's so got to go on there. It's the perfect size. All right, so you're on there. Bit of music. General paper. They'll be good to make books with and things like that. A little bit more normal. Oh, I like you. Maybe you can go on the floor under the stairs because you're only little. Oh, look at that. It was a letter. Oh, seriously, look. Oh, it's so precious. I think I had two of these. I've seen that before. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. There's a piece on the wall of paper with script on it up on the second from the bottom level. And I put it through Google Translate and it looked like a ledger of items and then the cost. And when Google translated it, it was barley, wheat. It was all these grains that someone had either taken into their inventory or sold to someone. It was so cool. There was a couple words that weren't picked up by Google. It just didn't know what it was, but the words barley, oats, wheat all popped up. And I thought, how perfect for a mouse house. Because don't they eat all that? It was just perfect. Really, really cool. All right, I think I might pop that down on the ground too. That will be a piece that I like. We just need to collage some more activities here to fill it up. Was that French or just dictionary? Oh, I like the picture. That picture's too good not to use. Maybe we slide that in there. I'll trim it down so that I don't use it all. And then we need something across the back. Where was that long piece of paper that was that unusual colour? This, that might be a waste. Might not be seen. It's a beauty, isn't it? We can trim these two down. I guess the risk I run is there'll be furniture go along the back wall and that won't be seen. So do we do that? Then bookcases go there and we can have this peeking through. That's the way to do it. And then we get a pop of that blue at the front here. Let's slide you under. No, if we slide you under, we lose that really cool writing. I love his name, Roger. Let's make sure we get Roger's name in. I'll just crease that so that I know my edge. that catches all of that information and the word commission. So there we go. That will go across the front to be trimmed down. That can be pulled up so we see that pretty stamp. And then that, maybe we can find some French paper as the fill. We can do better, I think. There was definitely some French. Here we go. Oh, there's another piece. Maybe that goes there like that. Bring that right over. Bring that right over. Bring that forward, so if there is furniture, at least see that it's a book by having that print. Can you guys see? So we'll do that edge to there, that edge to there, that edge to there. There we go. So there is one floor. This one is one piece. Yay. And then I'll get on my hands and knees and do the floor down there with what we've put down. And then I'll come back when it comes to picking some wallpaper, because I've got that scrapbook paper drifting through. The only thing I don't have in the bottom is some textiles. Maybe a bit of a patch of textiles goes in. Anyway, that's a good start. All right, I'll tune out. I'll do a few little bits and pieces and I'll come back to show you where we're at. Won't be a moment. Okay, I'm back. Just going to bring you up to speed and I guess some decisions I need to make. And I think you know me by now that when I talk them out aloud, I tend to come up with solutions. So this is where I'm at. The dowel posts have been all cut to size. Oh, I must show you my new saw if I haven't already. Look at this. How good is that? I was using Gaz's really big saw that you would use to cut down a tree. And it worked, but it was pretty brutal, let me tell you. So I went and got myself through the week another piece of this dowel, and I've got a tiny bit left, which only gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 legs, and I had one remaining. So I've got one sitting down the back there. Plus I had one spare from the previous piece of dowel. So I really do not want to buy any more of this balsa dowel. Not that it's expensive, it's only a couple dollars, but that's just waste, I think. So as I insert all of these levels, I've sort of got to have a think about where I place them and then come up with some decorative poles like I did up the top using the knitting needle. So that's one decision I'm making. So as for scrapbook paper, we'll come back over here. I had a little piece left of that one. On the reverse of that is the red version of it. So I've flipped it and I've got the blue. There is a gap directly below it and then the floor would go in, of course. So I've just got to come up with a piece of paper to go there, and I'll use vintage. Down the bottom, my promissory note is fantastic, and this is going to be the bakery. It is so the bakery. That's a fantastic backboard to all of my baked goods. The floor is adhered. I love it. Let's come into here. This floor is done with that embroidery monogram pattern paper. Just love it. I had a little scrap here that came off of something. I don't know where that come, and I used that just to cover the white floor that was exposed when the two surfaces met. So I love that. There's my post tentatively hanging there in midair. The washi tape's fantastic for holding things until you make decisions. What else have I done? In here, this is definitely the book nibble nook. It's going to be perfect. I will need to make some custom shelving, which is fantastic because I do want to try and have a play with shelving. This bookcase that I picked up is too tall for anywhere, and many times I've used it as a way to stabilize a floor going in. but it was just not quite the right size, because I have this little, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little joining piece here that connects that top board to that board right through the whole house. So I've been balancing on that edge, and the bookcase is just too tall. I could cut the feet off, which I've considered many times, but then it's too low. So the bookcase has just floated through all of the surfaces, and now I've found a spot. It's going to be the start of the library in that corner. So what I'm thinking is I can do some shelving up that wall to complement the bookcase. I can go as high as I want to that balsa edge, which is fantastic. And I still potentially can bring a floor out across, you know, that area as well. Where's my little piece of here, balsa wood? This here. So I can create a balsa wood floor that can come out across those bookcases in the future to give me another little spot to have, you know, mice go out and do something in that back corner. So I'm love that. So that'll definitely happen. There'll be a balsa wood floor going there. This position's really good. I do need to work out how to attach to this pole a support, because it's too valuable, that piece of dowel, to use there. So I need to come up with something creative for that. That then will come out and come over here and help support this area. Now the big decision, let me just show you something. If the end room becomes a bakery, which it is going to be the bakery, I really want to play with clay dough and create baked goods. So if that becomes a bakery, and I'm thinking a cafe here, like a little table and chairs, and that's why I've moved that pole back. It gives me this wall and this wall. Otherwise the poles were out here. Now, when I put the floor in, have a look at this. See, the floor goes in like that. I lose a lot of my visual aspects. I can't see the back wall. And if I put all that effort into making baked goods, unless you're down here on the floor looking in, which, you know, it's not a problem, I guess, I'm really considering chopping this board down. And when I lay it down, I would cut it back at that line. Now with that removed, which potentially could be wide enough to go through there. No, it's not. I'd feel like I get a better view into the bakery, but my beautiful paper's adhered to the board and I can't decide, will it cut? I'm not game. Oh my goodness. So that's something I've got to think about. I'm waiting for it to dry, and I'm hoping that maybe there's an opportunity. And that would then line the floor up with this guy. Then I can do a ramp, because I'm going to need a ramp to get through. I can use that post and that post to support a little ramp going through. Potentially. I don't know. Oh my goodness, I tell you. So that's where I'm at. So I'm happy with my wallpapers. I'm going to adhere them next. I then just need to find something for there, and I'm thinking it's going to be vintage papers, because I don't want too much of the scrapbook wallpaper. I just want pops of it. I want it to look mousy, so it's got to be bits and bobs of things. What I'll do then, once the back wall is completed, I'm so pleased I got a room for that bookcase. I then need to make a decision on the floors going through here. Do I cut him down? Does it really matter? Okay, that's where we're at. All right, guys, be back in a moment. Probably a day will go by. Like, I need time to think these things through. You can hear the cogs turning, can't you? All right, back in a moment. Hello, everyone. I'm back. So it's later in the afternoon, and I have literally been crawling around doing this all day. I did stop briefly, but yeah, it is still a work in progress. I'll show you what I've done. First of all, the little table. I ended up cutting out a little piece to sit on top of that little table that caught the date, Paris, the 1st of August 72, which is great because I was born in 1972. You can just make out the lady's name there, and I just love it. I'm sure I'll do some other things to it to sort of mousy it up, but yeah, I'm thinking that my furniture will be highlighted with bits and pieces exactly like this. I don't really want to get into the whole paint thing. It's just messy, and I'm thinking that collaging fabrics and papers will continue to be my thing. So really happy with that sort of idea that come on. Now over here, so what I've got happening there is I have some support posts at the back. I have some round dowel at the front, and my piece is sitting on top and everything is glued with a book weighting it down. So I'm hoping that everything will be stable by tomorrow morning. That took so much thinking through, and in the end I ended up moving the structure right over to this edge because I'm thinking I can do a built-in shelving unit in that far back corner and potentially one here. So that would sort of finish off the front. I don't know. I just sort of felt like when it was away from that window, it sort of just didn't feel right, where I believe I can put a ramp between the two areas and it would still feel like just a void space, better than over here. And now I've got an opportunity to put something against that window, and yeah, or some drapes. So really happy with that. Just hope that all of the glue holds. I've got washi tape holding everything in position. Now this side, the bull clips that are here are holding that piece of timber. That was my stairs. Remember I showed you my staircase? Well, I pulled all of the little paddle pop sticks out, and I've now used that timber to be a support beam. Now that actually needs to be spun around, and that support beam goes against the back of the house. So at the moment it's still drying. That one dried really quickly and I got it into position. So glue will go along that edge and it'll go against the wall over there. Now coming down, I have 3 dowel posts left. So I had 5 in total. So this is where the thinking has gone into this. We've got one here, one here, one here. So that's 3, and the bookcase is the structure. And then one here, and then this square dowel went into the back corner, as you can see. Whoops, back there. So I've managed to pull it off with 5 posts, a bookcase and 2 additional posts. So what I'm thinking is over there is going to be the nibble nook. I can do a custom made bookcase along that whole back wall. So that's why the little white one came out, and it can be something in that corner, and I can use it to hold up the top layer. So really, really happy with that. Okay, what else did I do? Oh, have a look at that. Love, love, love. Piece of scrapbook paper. It finished about there. On the other side of it was the stripes, so I end up cutting 2 pieces down here, so it sort of gives you that tongue and groove look. Like a rail could go there and a picture could hang. Love it. Didn't end up doing that side or that side. I sort of don't want to lose the white and not get too scrapbooky, if that makes sense. Trim. Look, 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 look. I did that to all of the stairs. Absolutely love that. And I end up cutting the slightest little slither of fabric from a jelly roll, and I've trimmed the stairs on that level, that alcove there, right through. I've done it up there, and what started off all of it, where is it? See, up there, here. That piece of trim was in that French pack. So I glued a piece on there and a piece somewhere else. Where did I put the other piece? Oh, here, up there. And that was like, oh, wow, that's right. I did want to trim the edges. So then the tape measure fabric came into play, the jelly roll fabric came into play. There's some more tape down there and jelly roll along there. I haven't done the sides up there, and I haven't done the pitch. I'm just going to wait, but I did take jelly roll from around the corner there right through, right along that far side. So love it, love it. And I love how, see that floor there? I picked up the red there, the red there, red there. So that's the decision on what color I chose to actually do it. Oh my goodness, I tell you, I've just got one more patch to do there. And yeah, get this structure in place. I need to find something to go up the stairs yet. I covered that piece there, yet to be glued, because I need to remove that yet and put the fabric down the steps. And I started cladding that far wall with just scraps that, as I was packing up my fabric, there was just bits and bobs. So I used them on that wall. I think that's it so far. Well, I'll keep going, like, oh goodness me, my knees are so sore. Up and down, up and down. But I'll get this into position and then I'll walk away, and tomorrow with fresh eyes I'll find a fabric for there, and that would just be about the last decision. All right, be back in a moment. Hi everyone. Well, it is still Saturday and it's now about 15 minutes till midnight, and I couldn't wait any longer. I figured the glues would be dry by now. So, and here comes the fudge. Hey Fudgy. There you go. Done, finished. You'll note that there is fabric on those stairs. I end up going for a ticking. I looked at so many different fabrics, and that was one that I just thought blended nicely and didn't stand out too much. There were really dark tickings, there were florals. I even looked at music paper. I sort of felt music paper blended too much, so that's what I chose. So my extra levels are in. I still have a little bit of washi tape at the back to remove, but pretty much they are in. What do you think, Fudge? So there we go. The house is technically finished in the way of cladding, decorating, exterior wise. There still will be bits and bobs go on walls as I find treasures. There's definitely opportunities for more trim. So yeah, I'll just tick away at it. But the bulk of it's done to the point where I can start really putting furniture into place, dressing furniture, and starting to get into creating miniatures to go into all of those spaces. So really, really looking forward to that. So I guess the next thing to do is to tell you the official name of the house. It's taken a while to come to me, but it did literally yesterday, and it is going to be called, I'm just tilting the camera back, Thimbleberry Manor. So thimbleberries are actually little berries that grow in the wild with little red berries and little white flowers. And I even googled, do mice eat thimbleberries? And they do, along with heaps of other little mammals and even deer. So that's what we're going to call the place, Thimbleberry Manor. I'll now go back through all the videos and put that in the title. So yeah, really love the name. So, and that there is going to be Nibble Nook. I just think that suits a little book nook, Nibble Nook. So yeah, I'm sure other names will come as we sort of work through the process of embellishing all these areas. Really pleased with it. Oh goodness sakes, I just love it. I am looking at relocating it to the shelf to the side of me. I've got like a little desk area. Let me just spin the camera around. And it dawned on me today. So I've got like a little desk there that my sewing machine sits on, and then just some stationery items. So I'm thinking of putting it on the wall where those stationery items are. I've just done a rough measurement, and I'm seriously considering now lifting it up, and that will be a lot easier for me to work on instead of crawling around the floor. So yeah, I'll just sleep on it, and I think tomorrow I'm going to pull all of those things out of there and yeah, add my house to that shelf. I think it'll be a lot easier for filming too. The camera and the stand will be on the same level. So yeah, really good. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. It's been an epic adventure, and so many ideas coming. Like, it's just the videos I've been watching and the Pinterest board I've created, and just chatting with fellow YouTubers that are making houses, decorating, and my mate Tia, who is really getting into it. So yeah, looking forward to the adventures. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Bye.
Hey Molly, did you hear that? Our house is called Thimbleberry. I really like it. I'm pleased with what Mum's done. She still has a lot of work to do, but there's so many things on my list that I want. She could start with making this sofa look a little nicer. But anyway, I'm sure she'll get to it. This is going to be great. I love it. I love my house. I think we're going to have a ball in here, Molly. Bye for now.